Some say he solves a Rubik's Cube with his feet, and his body temperature stands at a steady 3 degrees. All we know is he's reviewing Hawkstone Lager, and he's called Baldy. Well, hello there, perfect drafters. How we doing? Are we good? Good, really good. Because today we've got a belter, people. A belter in taste, a belter in flavour, a belter in carbonation. We will find out, won't we? But we've got a belter in terms of the storm that this has caused on the Perfect Draft. And let's be honest, that must be why they've done it. It's Jeremy Clarkson. That doesn't mean it's bad. I'm not taking that away from it. I'm not judging it by that fact. All I'm gonna do is judge it by how it tastes. That's it, people. Because that's what you need to know. Simple as that. The other point is, should you buy it? I mean, we have got a lot of good lagers, a lot of beauties on this machine here. Yes, we have. I've reviewed the vast majority of them. So I will tell you where, amongst that Perfect Draft range of lagers, this Hawkstone Lager, in my humble opinion, where it sits. Is it top of the tree? Is it bottom of the pile of, kegs? Empty kegs. Kegs that Beer Hawk want back because it's getting to Christmas and there's a bit of a rush on beer. Get your kegs back. So where does it stand in terms of how good this is compared to the other lagers on the Perfect Draft? Let's get the formalities out of the way. We're talking a British brewed beer, and Beer Hawk do seem to be trying to get more British lagers, British beers on the Perfect Draft. Wise move, because hopefully that means they can keep that cost a little bit lower. It's 4.8% and it's £36.50 of your finest. It does come from that man, Jeremy Clarkson. So love him or hate him, what's his beer like? And it's brewed at the Cotswold Brewery using local ingredients from Jez's Diddley Squat Farm. It's brewed using only the finest malted barley, maturing for 4 weeks at a lower temperature. And that's what gives Hawkstone Lager that crisp, clean taste. Now, there's a lot of beers, a lot of lagers that claim to have that clean, crisp taste. Is this one of them? Is it, people? We're gonna find out. I'll tell you something, I've got my Stella Chalice sitting there, proud as punch, waiting to be poured into. I've chose that very purposefully because I've done the majority of lager reviews on this Perfect Draft in that glass. I've spent my time cleaning it very, very thoroughly. I have. Very hot, scalding water has gone into that glass. There's no grease, there's no grime. That glass is as clean as a whistle. It's waiting for that beer. It should give us some bubs. I've heard a variety of opinions in terms of the carbonation of this lager. Some say it's a little bit flat. Some say that it loses its head quite quickly. Well, I'll find out. We're gonna do the usual, people. We're going to first of all have a look at that keg. We're going to do the pour. I'll bring it in. We'll have a look up close. What's it look like? How many bubs can we see? I'll have a sippy suppy sue. I'll let you know what I think to it. Before I grade it, I will have some snackage, and I've got an all-time favourite because I thought this beer deserves one of my faves, which I could not believe I have not yet reviewed. So I'm going to bring that snackage out. I'll have a little bite. I will rate the snackage, I'll rate the beer, and I will tell you where I personally think this lager sits amongst those Perfect Draft lagers that are available. Let's get stuck in, people. Okay, so some would say it's quite a simple design because it's quite a simple design, but I would say quite classy. An interesting kind of square font for that Hawkstone Lager. A stone-like background. ABV 4.8%, your standard 6 litre keg. There it is, people. Let's get it poured. Right then, people, here we go. Stella chalice at the ready. Let's get her poured. Right then, Jezza, if you do watch this, that's how you pour out of the perfect draft, yeah? With it on for a start. Here we go. It's weird because it does hum in that video, but then the display looks off. Then it cuts really badly. Anyway, let's bring her in. So there we go then, people. Look at that head. It's lovely and white. It's got some bubs in it, but I'll tell you something, it's pretty compact. It's looking nice. Nice amber colour, liking it. There's got some bubs there. I mean, this glass never lets me down. It really doesn't, but look at them. Just look at them. If you're saying there's no carbonation in this, well, you're doing something wrong. Let's say that. So there we go. Look at that. Let's see how it keeps that head. It's gone down a little bit already, but it did have a bit of domage. We can't say fairer than that. Smelling like a lager, as you'd expect. Fair play. It might not be a coincidence, just from a little whiff that I get, that I've put it in this glass. I'll tell you that now. Right, let's give this a sippy suppy soo. Right then, people. Let's go. Come on. Here we are. So having a look at it, it is looking clear. It's looking clear. It's looking nice. It's feeling good in terms of that temperature, that 3 degrees. Yeah, lovely white foam head. Lovely bubs coming up. So far, so good, but I ain't sucked it yet. All right then, people, let's give it a go. Cheers, Perfect Drafters. Cheers. Right, interesting. Interesting. Definitely smooth, lovely mouthfeel, really good. Spot on at 3 degrees. You know, I will try it cooler, always like to, but I mean, that's cold. So no matter what you got, Perfect Draft Pro or your standard, that is going to come out at a nice temperature. Good. Suits that beer. No bad aftertaste, no kind of tinny copper 2Ps all in your mouth. None of that. It's inoffensive, definitely inoffensive. I quite like the level of carbonation on that. And sometimes you see, especially in this glass, you see like a volcano of swirling bubbles firing to the top. It's kind of like slow moving carbonation, but the carbonation is there. I don't think it's bad. It's not going to blow you up like an absolute beauty. You know, I mean, you go down to your pub and get a Foster's or a Carlin or something, you're belching all the way to the next pub, literally. It's just gassing. It's like, whoa, yeah, just gets you, doesn't it? I mean, you have something to eat as well, you're a goner. But, yeah, I don't think that's going to blow you up uncomfortably. So I like that level of carbonation. I've had more on the Perfect Draft, just trying to think. You know, if you was looking at like a Tennent's or I think a Jupiler as well, they have a little bit more carbonation, I would say, than that. But if you're looking at kind of a Lisa or, well, it's called, what, Ramala or something now, or a Golden Goose Lager, a Leffe Lagra, or if you went to a more of a Hell's Lager like a Lowenbrau, they would have similar carbonation levels, I would say. In terms of taste, it has got that kind of Pilsner-like taste, I would say, to it. So it is a little bit more like a Stella in that sense, less like a Hell's. But I like it. I think it's good. The mouthfeel, like I say, is nice. It's refreshing. It's inoffensive. It's not going to upset anybody. I've said that for many a lager. I said that for the last one, for Innis and Gunn. but I would just say this edges Innis & Gunn for me. And that, you know, does it? It's a close one. That's a close call. And they're two relatively new kegs. This, brand new. Yeah, very close. Which, when you consider, you know, those very well-established breweries, with the Lowenbrau Lager, that's an oddity for Lef, so let's rule that out of the equation. But when you do look at the likes of Stella that have been around established for that long, you've got to say that they've put some good effort into this beer. And I'm not just saying that, because in the end of the day, you know, it's come from a good brewery still. Yes, it's using old Jezza's ingredients and stuff, but let's face it, how much work has Jezza put into it? He would probably admit himself, not a lot. But it's his ingredients they're using, and fair play, they're using them well. I mean, that's going down very nicely. It is. It's an easy drinker. I think if I'm going to compare it to anything, it would be Stella. It would. So, you know, and Stella on this, you know, that's good. Little bit of a peppery kind of taste in there as well. You can get a little bit of fruitiness, but not too much. I've heard some people saying it's knocking on the door of an IPA. No, I'm still classing that as a straightforward lager. Maybe a Shelby, it could just kind of say hello to, but a Shelby's more of a lager than an IPA for me. I would say that it's the closest to a Stella. Yeah. Right, let's have some snackage. It's an old favour, won't dig into it too much. It's just I wanted a nice kind of snack to go with this because I was quite excited about this. And I'll tell you what, I might even pull another one because that's going down very nicely. So let me get some snackage to have with a bit more of a tippy-toppy too. Easy now. Right, so I've given it a little tippy-toppy too, and that's the nice thing with a Perfect Draft, isn't it? You know what I mean? You can't do that with these bottles. And I would not have mind trying a comparison. I've done quite a few comparisons recently with the old Ghost Ship and with the Innis & Gunn. And I like doing that. I think it's good. Gets me another beer in. But those Hawkstone bottles, they're expensive, people. And when we are talking price, which we have to do now, really, with every keg, don't we? Because price is such an issue. When you're looking at that keg price, it ain't bad. That ain't too bad, I don't think. Not when you did see how much those bottles were. I feared for how much this one was going to be. There was no need for that fear, Baldy, because it's all right. It's not a bad price point. Let's hope it stays like that. When it was released, it was even on a multi-buy. Can't say fairer than that. Only for a day, but there we go. Right, snackage. Now, look, I can't believe I have not reviewed these ever. I just can't believe it. Because these are my #1 crisp. So they're gonna get a good score. I'll just tell you that right from the offset. These are Max Strong Jalapeno and cheese flavoured crisps. Perfect with beer. It's been a while since I had them and I just thought, look, I've not had them in one of my reviews, so I think I can make that as an excuse to reminisce and make sure I'm right. Because every time I do a snack review within these beer reviews, I always say these are the creme de la creme. And I've not had them for ages, so I just want to make sure that I'm right with that. Let's crack in. There's no blurbage on it because they're still banging on about Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. I'm not going to sign up to Paramount Plus. Forget it. Right, let's have a sniff. Yeah, I love that smell. I love these crisps. I know I'm going to like them. They're massive. Look at them. They're nearly as big as my head. I bet they're as big as Jezza's head. Look at that. Are they as big as Jezza's head? Not quite. I put this mask on earlier. And my 3-year-old son goes, Daddy, I know that's you because I can see your ears. Because my big flapping ears was coming out of the side. Big flapping ears. I tell you. Don't half boost the old ego, those kids. absolutely bang on. Bang on! They are. I know they've released some other flavours recently. They've got like a fiery sauce one. They're all right. I know they brought out them KFC ones quite a while ago now. They're okay. You know, the barbecue ones are good. Fiery chicken wing, I think. But then, that flavour is second to none. It's absolutely bang on. Bang on. What a crisp. Let's have a sup with it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You have a snack with a nice beer, and it makes it taste even better. Nuts and crisps, that's what they tell you to have with this on the app. And I tell you something, on the old PerfectDraft Pro app, tells you what to eat with it. Sometimes it comes out with fish or steak or something like that. I like the fact with this that said peanuts, crisps. Good, well said. Because that's what you should have with any lager. Very nice. It's got that maltiness to it, as you'd expect. You can taste the quality ingredients in there. Jezza, you farmed them well. Like him or loathe him, it's worth a blast, in my opinion. It just is. They've had a bit of fun with the old launch of it, and I like that. I do. I mean, a massive reason for getting this on the Perfect Draft will be the number of followers he's got on social media. Just the reach that he would have of exposing this machine just before the World Cup, just before Christmas. They seem to have taken it to a new level in terms of their marketing. You know, they're advertising on TV. They've gone out to a A-list celebrity and said, let's get your beer on there. Yeah, I mean, you can't fault them, I don't think. They've done well. Hopefully what it will do, and if they want to raise their kind of, you know, to get into a corporate kind of speak, net promoter score amongst everybody, is that they will sell an absolute shed load of these machines, meaning they will sell more and more kegs. And then they should bring the price down of them a bit. Because if they're selling that volume, they should be able to. That's what will raise people's opinion of them. If they do that, fair play. I mean, the machine, yeah, it's a bit like a printer, isn't it? You know, I've even seen in some countries they're giving them away. Of course they are, because the consumables are where they make the money. Yeah, that is like printer ink. Probably tastes a bit better. You know, if you just snip that bit of my video and say, that tastes like printer ink, that would be a bit bad. But, you know what I mean? It's just expensive, innit? Your consumables, your cartridges that go in your printer, blooming expensive. That's why printers are next to nothing in terms of, why I'm banging on about printers. Don't know. But you know what I mean? That's the whole reason for getting rid of those machines and giving you discount off them and stuff like that, because the kegs are where the money's at for them. Fair play. Right, gradage. It is close to a Stella, but it's even closer to a Spaten. That is the one that I would really consider that is definitely on par with. I don't think it's quite as good as Stella, but then I quite like that Stella twang. Like you've got a left twang to the left range, you've got a certain twang to the Stella and a little bit more punch. Because Stella on this is 5%. So only that little bit more. So I'm gonna say, in terms of a rating, I'm gonna give this 8. Yeah, an 8. That is exactly the same as Spaten, what I gave it. I gave it an 8, that's Spaten. I think I gave Stella either an 8.5 or a 9. That's what I did. But that's a very respectable score. Yeah. So where would I put it amongst all of the Perfect Draft kegs? Let's run through them. So Stella Unfiltered, I'd put it above that. Stella just below. Lowenbrau, I'm putting it kind of on level par with that. The Lowenbrau Oktoberfest and the Spaten Oktoberfest just edges it. But that's because I like that little bit higher ABV. For more of a session lager, this may well tickle your pickle. That's the way it goes. Depends what you want it for. Two that I would say beat it are both Jupiler and Hertog. Absolute belters and are very well established lagers on the Perfect Draft. If you're going for a 3-pack very soon and you just want lager, I would say bang a Jupiter in there, bang a Hertog in there, bang a Hawkstone Lager in there. Stella, you've probably had before, but if you've not had those 3, that's a good 3-pack. Corona it beats, Bud it beats, Bud Light it obviously beats, Beck's it beats, Beck's Gold it beats, Tennent's it does beat. Innis & Gunn, which I reviewed just recently, that's a difficult one. Little bit porridge there again for me. I think I may have even give that Innis & Gunn an 8.5, which would mean it does actually become below it, but I'm going to say they're on par. The Lisa, or the now Romola, or whatever it is, beats it. The La Virgin Madrid Lager was an interesting one, a surprise one, but I think the lack of carbonation in that was even less than this. This beats it. The Goose Island Golden Goose Lager beats it. I was disappointed with that. Spaten, like I say, on par. Hassroder, now that's a challenge. Hassroder. I'm going to say Hassroder is just above it. The Leffe Lagra beats it. The Chavinsky thing, the Ukrainian one, I enjoyed that. That was an easy drinker. That's quite similar, actually. Just beats it. And that's where it sits right there. Okay. That wasn't easy to do. I've got to say, that's a challenge. Where you position this amongst the other lagers is a challenge. But there we go. It's a challenge boldly accepted. Simple as that. So Clooney, here's your Nespresso capsules. Should you have, I don't know why I'm talking to him in a frame, bit random, innit? Should you have a Hawkstone Lager from the Perfect Draft Pro? Yes or no? Should I flick your Nespresso capsules off? Yes, I am. They were empty ones, actually, because they're quite expensive. Right. If you like that video, please give it a like. If you didn't, don't. Subscribe to the channel if you wish. If you don't, well, don't do that either. But what I'm going to say to you is this, people. Whatever you're doing, have an absolute beauty doing it. Have a belter of a weekend. Enjoy. Christmas is just around the corner, so start to get in your mind what are going to be those Christmas kegs. There's still some dark arts in stock, which is a beauty on Christmas Day, and it will be discontinued soon. So there's Baldy's tip. Get that in amongst your 3-pack. But for now, Perfect Drafters, have an absolute beauty. Enjoy. Cheers. Have a good one. Cheers. Cheers.